Hello once again. Let's talk about the hypocrisy of this world we're living in. It's astounding. We have the G7 conference in Japan, and more appropriately in Hiroshima. And if you know anything about a little bit about history, you know that Hiroshima was one of the places that was bombed in 1945, apparently to make the Japanese surrender. It also involved Nagasaki. And the then President, Truman, gave the okay to drop those bombs. And on the morning when they dropped those bombs, he was in church. No doubt he was praying. I wonder if he was praying for all those tens of thousands of people that were incinerated by that bomb. And now we have, like I say, the G7. Used to be the G8, but Russia was excluded because of their annexation of Crimea. But they weren't permanently excluded, and quite rightly so. But Biden is there, the leader of America, and refusing to make any apologies to the Japanese for what happened. That is unbelievable. And the meetings of these G7 people, I don't know what's happened to the Japanese. They used to be a fiercely fighting race. And they seem to have crumbled into this, I don't know, just accepting things as they are. Whatever that means, I don't know. Just remarkable. And especially when you think about the G7 countries. And they should be talking about peace in Ukraine. Because if they don't talk about peace, then the war will continue. And Zelensky, who has got nothing to do with the G7, he is there trying to get money from these different countries to prolong the war. How ridiculous. How ridiculous is that? And no, I don't know the actual figures because the propaganda is equal on both sides. But I'm pretty certain that the death toll amongst the Ukrainians is exceeding 300,000 soldiers. That's without the civilians, and probably just as more been wounded. It's tragic. It really is a tragedy that's going on. Where are the peacemakers in this world? It doesn't make sense. And I mentioned Russia. And because of Finland's joining, well, actually it wasn't. Russia was okay with Finland joining NATO. But there was a caveat to that. They can join NATO, but they must not put NATO troops in Finland. And what's happened? NATO troops are there. American troops are there in the north of Finland, and they should not be. Consequently, what has Russia done? They have started building missile bases all along that corridor, all along the border between Finland and Russia. So, answer me this, was that really a good idea that Finland joined NATO? I don't think so. Utter madness. And where does this all take us? Where are we leading with this? What's going on? I look at quite a few things on the internet that are involved in some of its propaganda. It's very, very difficult to know what is propaganda and what isn't propaganda. But there are people out there that are on the ground in the Donbass area in Ukraine, and they can see what is going on. Those places, there's no military institutions, installations there, and yet they're constantly bombed by Ukraine, purely killing civilians. When is it going to stop? When will it stop? I don't know. I just despair at the thought of humanity going down this road once again. It's madness. It's utter madness. And where does it all come from? We all know where it's coming from. It's the American hegemony, the bully boys of this world. Now, going back to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, if any other country in the world had had nuclear weapons, do you really think that America would have dropped the bomb on Japan? No, of course it wouldn't. They're just they're bullies. They've always been bullies, and they always will be bullies. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the political regime. It's madness, utter madness. And if this leads to a nuclear war, I won't be surprised. I really will not be surprised. And the first targets, of course, will be America and Europe. And that will be the end of the world as we know it. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Thank you for listening to my rant on a Saturday morning in Hythe. It's a beautiful day and I'm going for a walk. And I'll rest my case. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to listen to any more, push the uptick or subscribe or whatever. Whatever. Once again, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.